morning, good afternoon, good evening. How is everybody? Welcome to another episode of Roll Around, Find Out. In tonight's episode, we're going to do a little session prepping, and I'm going to bring you along the journey. So, in my school group, I've got about 9 kids that come and go, float, whether, they're hunting, they've got another club, parents' vacation, whatever. And so, really flexible group. And we have been using this map here as our sort of kind of story point. There was screams being heard from this tower up here. And it was kind of a slog, a battle, getting through the town, these buildings here, which were more or less abandoned from anything other than monsters. And they had fun the last couple sessions by working their way through. This was a gate that they had to ram open. One student tried climbing. He would get like halfway up and then fall down. And then eventually they realized, oh, well, our goal is just knock people off the sides, because then they would roll down and they didn't have to necessarily kill a monster. They didn't have to take it all the way to 0 hit points. They just needed to use teamwork to trip monsters, push monsters, etc. down the sides of the road. So finally, they have made their way to the tower. And I've modified this ever so slightly, but significantly. This tower here has the face of the creator of the tower. It is just plain up top. This gate right here is not existent. The only way in this tower is a little 1-inch tall by 1/2 inch wide little slit. And players were climbing up. Now, let me back up. My table, we are not using Dungeons and Dragons necessarily. We're using a little D&D. Some kids roll a D20. Some are using my super simple 1-page role-playing game where it's D6 based. Roll 2 if you're average. Roll 3 if you're good. Roll 1 if you're bad. Tell me the highest roll. And kids, like I said, it's fluid. Kids have been coming and going, and their characters are Link from Zelda, King Anklebreaker, Minecraft Steve, I don't know what, but she's got wings. Another I don't know what, but she's got apparently a dragon for a pet. And you know what? Who am I to say no? I limit everybody, keep it within reason. Minecraft Steve, like he said, okay. And I'll say I'm a very casual Minecraft person. I couldn't, tell you a ton about it. But he said, okay, I go into creative mode. Okay, well, I casually know what that means. That's a pretty generic term. And so I just use it as a spell. As I say, sure, what do you want to do? And for creative mode, I think he used it to sneak around this tower and across or through the barricade and get to the other side. So he rolled, he was successful. Sure, mark that off as a spell. Okay? They're limited to, I think, 6 spells per day, and that didn't seem incredibly busted to me. What he ended up doing was encountering the monsters, and he distracted them enough to then allow the rest of the players to push the doors open. So, great teamwork. I had no problems with it. Okay. flash forward, last session, they got to the tower here. They climbed all up and around. They couldn't really do anything. And then finally, somebody stuck their dagger in the little slit. And it disappeared. They were upset. Am I going to get that back? How did that happen? And they, for probably a good hour, they didn't want to lose anything. So they kind of avoided it. They were hitting it with hammers. Minecraft Steve got his diamond pickaxe out. And they were casting spells at it. And finally, they all realized, there's nothing we can do. I gave them hints that it was being magically sealed, magically blocked, magically protected. So finally, King Ankle Breaker, who, guess what he's good at? Breaking monsters' ankles. I forget the monster we found in the monster book, but there's some really ugly looking thing that is just like a blob that looks like it's coming out of the ground. It didn't have legs. My criteria was I didn't want it to have legs, and it couldn't fly. So it kind of sort of looked like a roper. Let me pull a picture of a roper. Kind of looked like a roper, but didn't have all these tentacles. And so King Ankle Breaker, because he was breaking everybody's ankles, that was his weakness. Anyways, he finally said, okay, I want to see if I can fit in this slit. And I said, well, there's no way you can fit, but, do whatever you want to do. So he said, okay, well, I'll stick my hand in. And I said, okay, well, as soon as a finger gets in there, you disappear. And then I gave him a little note. I didn't want everybody else to know what happened to him. And I said, you're in the tower. And then after about 20 minutes, somebody else tried. They got in the tower. And so now everybody's in the tower. And luckily, the way that the session ended, we were all out of time for the club, and I didn't have to describe anything that's in the tower. The only premise that they know is that they heard screams coming from it. That's about it. So, it gave me some time to prep, do some research, look around, and think, what do I want to do with this tower? And so, I found... Where'd you go, you pesky dog? I just had you. Here we go. This was from the DM's Guild, which I don't go to too often, but maybe I should check it out. I know it's has some overlap with DM's Guild, and I'm 99% sure they're owned by the same group. But here we go. Valerian's Trial. This is like modern day, but old school as possible. So cool. You look at the art here, and I don't care that it's just black and white. I think you would call this line drawing. These eyes right here, I was like, yep, I'm using this. Because when you look over here at what they're looking at, you think, oh, okay, yeah, that's a monster of some sort. It's got the little, what is that, a morning star? Not good. And if you're watching this, you might instantly have seen it. It took me a little second, took me a while. But, oh, look at the arm and look at the neck. It's clearly a skeleton. And I just thought, yeah, this is so cool. All right. So here we have Valerian's Trial. In dark corridors, a soft droning hum hints hidden mechanisms. Smooth stone walls are chiseled with hypnotic patterns. Floor tiles are carefully aligned with inhuman precision. At the end of the trial, a promise of knowledge and power. Valerian's Trial is a dungeon for 4 characters of level 10. Okay, I have 9 characters of whatever freaking level these kids have. I have no idea. This module can easily be integrated in your adventure or be used as a standalone dungeon. Players will face golems, deadly traps, and the biggest challenge of the trial. Discover the path to the last room. Warning, this dungeon is a good fit only for players that like to overcome obstacles with creativity and improvisation, got it, rather than a simple dice roll. Well, I could go on and on about these students, these kids, and creative ways that they try to get into the tower, and Minecraft Steve, hero alone. And so these kids, this is going to be absolutely perfect for them. Now, I've mentioned it before in a couple podcasts. I struggle with running pre-made adventures. I love writing my own. I know what happens. I know how everything's linked. But I'm trying to cut some corners here and save me some time, see if I can understand what's really going on here, and learn, a huge reason for this podcast, learn from others that have come before me and have created this. So it is free. Let me actually go back and look it up because it's pretty important. Tricube Tales, check it out. We might talk about it. DM's Guild. Valerian's Trial. There we go. It is free from this guy, Knave. He uploaded it back in 2020, September 14th of 2020. Little did he know. Let's see, was COVID in full effect September? Yeah, it was. And 3 ratings, 4.5 stars, and only 1 discussion. Wow, what a dungeon. I truly enjoyed to present all of those little traps to my party. In my one-shot, Valerian was a very bored, decadent old wizard who enjoyed to watch parties being challenged. When my party did something amazingly brilliant or stupid, they could be sure to hear his voice out of nowhere. Like that, it was possible to give some hints and awake a funny NPC to life. Okay? So, based on that one description, it seems pretty open. Alright, so we'll hop back in here, read some of this, and then let me actually jump to the very last page. Is it the last page? Almost last page. Here is the dungeon. Zoom out here. Lots of different rooms, and I believe in the discussion it says a lot of dead ends. Like here we have essentially 3 dead ends, a dead end, a dead end. And so we'll get into what these mean. But yeah, there's the map. Very old school, very simple. I also like this as an example to give kids. I try to have kids cycle through being a DM. Some kids don't want to do it. You know, I'm not going to force anybody to DM, but sometimes they just need that little push. They just need a little example. Something that just tickles their fancy, and they say, you know what, I can do this. Yeah. I want to run it. I've got an idea. So if I hand these to a player, they might be able to, you know, fill it with whatever they want to fill it with. They, at this age, and with their experience in the hobby, they don't know what they don't know, right? So anything, any little morsel of information I can give them, any little handouts, they cling to that. Okay. The dungeon. Before entering Valerian's trial, players should be clearly informed that their goal is to reach the last room and obtain the final reward. It is not required to explore every room of the dungeon. So, my players do not know that, but as they just entered, they will learn that. I'll have, like that recommendation from the DM's Guild, some voice will just appear from somewhere. Maybe I'll have some magic item, some floating Star Wars hologram type thing, reveal who is at the end of this dungeon. Most of the areas are not connected through doors or passages. Players will have to find the Magister's key and use it to open passages in the walls and explore the dungeon. The symmetry of the location should serve as a guide for the players. Valerian's trial is in its own demi-plane, and spells that allow players to travel between planes do not work. In this place, the duration and radius of light sources are halved. Okay, super dark in there. The ceiling is 10 foot high, and all the walls can be climbed with a successful DC 25 strength or athletics check. Every trap remains active as long as someone occupies its space and resets to the default state after 2 minutes. Pretty cool. Make secret perception rolls every time players discover a new section of the dungeon. Simple traps are always hidden and can be spotted with a successful DC 25 perception check. Yikes. Brazier. An inscription at its base. With this lit, guiding light, scorching flames, you will fight. With one brazier lift. Now, I'm a dummy. I don't know what that is. I was going to pretend I did, but you know what? I'm going to be honest with you. No idea. I'm guessing it's a torch. A portable heater consisting of a pan or stand for holding lighted coals. A barbecue. I don't know what this is, but I want to be friends with this guy. They got some witchcraft going on. Alright. An inscription at its base. With this lit, guiding light, scorching flames, you will fight. With one brazier, lit, fire spreads to all the others in the dungeon, and to small alcoves carved within the wall decorations. Man, I don't know words. These lights are permanent and are not reduced as the other lights in the dungeon. If the braziers, let me go back. You're listening to this thinking, this guy's an idiot. And yeah. Brazier. So says my Bluetooth headphones, which I don't wear. Let me put these on again. Hang on. Brazier. So says Google. I'd hate to be questioning Google. Alright, a brazier. If the braziers are not lit, traps are more difficult to spot and avoid. Perception checks and dexterity saving throws are made with disadvantage. Okay, stone pillar. On the top of a stone pillar, there is a small metal basin filled with fresh water and an inscription on the rim. Water for the wary. If a character drinks all the magical water, roll on the following table to see its effect. Spider climb, cure wounds, or enhance ability, cat's grace. When the basin is placed on the stone column, it slowly refills with water and after 15 minutes is full again. Alright, so is this just describing what all the different things are? Simple traps. Like, does it start with a brazier? Alright. Simple traps. Floor spikes. Long and sharp spikes spring from the floor with a pressure plate. The spikes have a +5 attack bonus and deal 9 piercing damage on a hit. Fire trap. I don't need to go over all these. Fire trap, swinging blades, spike pit, wall razors, mechanical statue. It says here, resting in the dungeon. Players can rest in the dungeon, even though this is not recommended. After each hour spent in Valerian's trial, the droning hum gets louder. Blades spin faster, fires burn brighter, and every trap becomes deadlier. After each hour, traps with an attack bonus increase by +1, and those that are spell-based increase their saving throw DC by +1. Yikes. I like that a lot. Overcoming traps. Players are encouraged to find creative ways to overcome the various traps. The Dungeon Master should reward good ideas with advantages on saving throws or disadvantages for attack rolls of traps. If the players have an exceptionally good idea to neutralize a trap, then they can just pass it without any dice roll. Destroying or disabling a trap component is possible, but it should be difficult and dangerous process. Even if successful, the trap will magically restore to its initial state after 10 minutes. All right, these traps, they're sticking around. All right, first area open for exploration. Here we go. This is a weird looking map compared to the other ones. To enter Valerian's trial, one must pass through a portal opened by the powerful mage. Its location and appearance are up to you. The portal should remain open while the characters explore the dungeon. Hey, it says right here, its location and appearance are up to me. So that little slit, check, we're off to a good start. 2. Trap whirling blades. Walls are decorated with hundreds of small eyes carved into stone, while a line of horizontal whirling blades move back and forth the corridor's length. Alright, so I wish this was labeled here. Is this 2? Let me go look at the other maps. Here's 2, so they must enter here. And here's 2. Let's see, what do these dots mean? Doesn't say. Swinging blades. Are those X's? There's swinging blades. Well, what the heck is this thing for then? And I don't like that. White is the path here, but then black is the path here. Confusing. Whirling blades. Alright, what were these X's here? Those are swinging blades. Go to this map. Nope, no bueno. Oh, I don't know if you can hear my dog. She's sleeping and she's crying or whining. Okay, well, the confusion begins. Trap whirling blades. 3. The 2 guardians. 2 beautifully decorated full plate armors wielding shield and Morningstar stand next to a stone chest in the center of the room. Alright, well, let me see. Does that line up here with room 3? There's 3. When entering the room, 2 helmed whores activate and attack players while fighting. They might use one of their attacks to shove the player back and push them into a trap at the entrance. So let's go back here. I guess that would be this here, the floor spikes. Okay. At the center of the room is a stone chest containing the Magister's key. An inscription is carved on the top of the chest. Learn the right path. Use the right tool. Walls won't stop you. Alright. 4. The library. A large wooden table with chairs stands in the center of the room. Every wall is a shelf filled with old, dusty tomes and scrolls. So, I don't know if I missed it, but I like that this is what you read to the players. This is your description. Alright, I just want to make sure that room 4 is a library. So what does room 4 look like? Okay, sure, yeah. It could be. Alright. If though that's got to be what it is. So I'm confused as to what this is for. Oh, it's on a different angle. Okay, I get it now. Yeah. This map here is the labeled map. This map here is the blank map for players. Now, you may be thinking how dumb that I didn't realize that, but here you can see it's angled this way, and here it's up and down that way. So, should I have noticed that sooner? Yes, I should have. But, okay. I got it. Makes sense. So, all of these rooms have things going on. Got it. Okay. So, what's at the end? Valerian Adler is a mage of incredible power and knowledge. He is the keeper of many secrets and a dedicated scholar. At the end of the dungeon, the players may find a wondrous item, some forgotten knowledge they were seeking, or even a portal to another world. Choose an appropriate reward depending on the playstyle and setting, or roll on the final mysterious reward table. Awesome. A small piece of paper folded twice, inside a single word. Necronomicon. A hideous black mark appears on your chest. The undead will let you pass. A 3-headed black cat with 7 tails. Okay. Here we have the Magister's Key. This wondrous item looks like a short metal wand with an amethyst point. So that must be this right here. When the crystal slides on a surface, it leaves a glowing magical line that lasts for a few seconds. The Magister's Key can be used to draw on any surface and create an opening on it when the two ends of the line conjunct. The opening can be up to 10 feet in diameter, but the item does not work on a surface thicker than 5 feet. If someone tries to create a passage on a surface too thick, it takes 1d3 force damage instead. The opening lasts for 1 minute, during which it slowly shrinks. The Magister's Key can be used twice per day, but inside Valerian's trial, it can be used an unlimited number of times. Oh, very cool. Okay, one of the last things here. Valerian Adler. This dungeon was built by Valerian Adler, the prestigious elven archmage of Wyrn. He's a powerful spellcaster who claims to know every conceivable spell and to be capable of creating any magic item or mechanical contraption. Even though he spends most of his time in the Mage's Tower studying old tomes, Valerian is no stranger to the mundane life. Parties, women, wine, gambling. The Archmage is famous for indulging in the most common pastimes at nighttime. Occasionally, he also enjoys toying with adventurers that arrive to his doorstep, asking for some wondrous item or forgotten knowledge. Valerian is typically happy to aid them with whatever they need, granted they can survive his mortal trial. Okay, so the last room is room 13, right? This is the only room where the chiseled patterns on the walls converge in the center of the ceiling. As in the previous room, decorations are easier to climb. If players use the Magister's Key on the ceiling, a passage to an identical room filled with water opens. When water starts flowing down, the entrance door closes. How fast the lower room fills with water depends on the dimension of the opening made with the Magister's Key. If the diameter is 10 feet, the room fills in 2 rounds, and every character under the opening takes 7 bludgeoning damage for the impact. If the diameter is 5 feet, the room fills in 4 rounds. The room fills with water till the ceiling. Players should find a way to reach the upper room. Wow. I actually like that a lot. A golden statue depicting Valerian stands in the room. Glorious in its quality and with a great attention to detail, it even wears silk clothes and a velvet cape. Once all players are in the upper room, an iron golem starts to activate. To do so, it takes one full round during which the fire lights inside it. In the second and third round, the construct is still warming up and can perform only one attack per turn and cannot use the breath attack. Players are not supposed to fight this powerful enemy. Use descriptions to clearly communicate this, and the Magister's key should be used to open a passage under the creature and make it fall in the lower room. If it is still filled with water, the golem deactivates. Otherwise, it remains in the lower room, unable to climb through the opening. After getting rid of the golem, the players have reached the end of Valerian's trial. A hidden compartment slides out of the wall, presenting the final reward. Alright, well, is Valerian hanging out? Is he like, what's up, bros? What you doing here? Was built by... He's a powerful spellcaster. I guess that would be up to me. He could pop in and pop out. But he's so powerful, you know. Players can give him everything they've got, and he's not going to get a scratch on them. Alright? So, I will give each player something their character really wants, within reason. Link, you get the Master Sword. Minecraft Steve, you get full plate diamond armor. King Ankle Breaker, you get a boombox to bust out your raps. I don't know, right? My table is weird and wonky, but this is pretty straightforward. I don't know what this is about. Oh, this is... because these three things are familiar. So, okay, if we take this design and we... let's shrink this. And we go this way... that must be the connected path. So... it was... yeah, because you can... let's see, where do they enter? Room 1? Here. Yeah, they could come down here. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright, I got it. Makes sense to me. Descriptions of all the rooms. Yep, perfect. Alright, well, this is gonna last my kids, like, 5-6 sessions, I would say, at least. We run for 2 hours. So yeah, I would say it's easily, with 9 kids, 9 middle school kids, who at times just care more about talking about their day than they do playing D&D. I would say, yeah, for sure. This is a home run. I'm going to leave a review after I run it. I can't imagine it doesn't go well. And so there we go. Quick episode tonight. That's okay. This is perfect. Session prep done. Everything I need is right in here, ready to rock. So check it out. Valerian's Trial. Dungeon Masters Guild. Did I close out of it again? You have got to be kidding me. Oh, here we go. Valerian's Trial. I'll put the link in the description, but, man, super cool. Take it to your table. Let me know how it goes. See you in the next episode. Later.